time can test all this time that we've invested. If our settlement gets better in these 7 solemn days, I'll be a weatherman.
So in our culture of individual achievements and egos and will and self-gratification and happiness, we tend to make our decisions based on what we want to do. What do I want? What would be best for me? I'm trying to discover my inner self and do that. And in that framework, we decide what's right and wrong, and we work towards what's right and wrong. Quakers at least attempt to have a bigger picture understanding of what's good for the world, good for our species, and good for the body of God, which includes everything, everyone. So we believe that we don't know. We believe that you can't prescribe. You can't say, well, this is right, and I'm always going to work towards what is right. So in order to make our decisions as Quakers, we do this thing called clearness and discernment. So without prescribing a path, without certain actions, we're trying to listen for that deeper path that will move everything towards wholeness, towards health, towards interconnectedness. And in order to do that, we have to know that we don't know. We have to know that there's something larger than ourselves, and in order to work towards healing and wholeness, we have to get low. We have to humble ourselves and listen to the mystery, to God. And as Quakers, we've developed a practice for doing this, since we realize that as individuals, when we listen for God, sometimes we'll come up with crazy things, sometimes we'll mishear what we're supposed to do. So we have this thing called a clearness committee and a clearness process. And that clearness process is a group of people that comes together around a decision to come up with the clearness and to listen deeply. My name is John, and I'm a Quaker musician, and I'm trying to do my music as a ministry. And people, I've gotten the feedback that my music is a ministry, and so I'm trying to do it faithfully. I'm trying to listen for the ideas and the direction that I can't imagine and that I can't come up with off the top of my head or through reasoning. So I'm doing this grand experiment in Quakerism, which is the largest clearness committee ever. I'm just doing it over the internet, and I'm inviting anyone to come and be a part of this process. And so I just posted the third step. I want to tell you what a typical clearness process is. So it starts with worship. We all center down, and in the Quaker practice, we center down in silence, and we try and release ourselves of our will and our ego and our prescriptions, and we attempt to invite the movement of the Spirit into the forefront of our focus in that worshipful time. And then the person who's the subject of the clearness committee will start sharing. They'll start sharing about the decision they have to make. It might be a marriage that they're thinking about getting into. It might be a job that they're thinking about taking, or a school that they're thinking about going to, or even something as small as sort of like what to do for the fall. You can do clearness committees with just gather a group of friends. So for the purpose of this clearness committee, I shared the state of the art. My music career is at a crossroads, and I'm thinking about whether I need to lay it down or how to support myself. So I wrote this state of the art report. I also shared what I'm excited about, what excites me, what makes me come alive. And then I wrote another post about brainstorming, what I've already brainstormed as my potential options going forward. So the third step of the Clearness Committee is to invite the members of the Clearness Committee to share queries. So a Quaker query is sort of like an open question that comes from the Spirit. So we listen for the questions that seem to bring us closer to clearness. And sometimes the subject of the Clearness Committee will respond. Sometimes they'll just take into prayer the queries that they've received. I like to respond because it takes us all deeper into the decision. So this video is to let you know that I've responded to all of your questions. I got over 30 communications from people around the world helping me think about what to do in my music career and how to move forward. And so I've responded to all of your queries as best I could. You know, I've sort of synthesized them down into a few questions, and if you have more questions for me, I would really welcome them. And then at the end of our Clearness Committee, we'll do some reflections. I'll invite folks to reflect back to me what they're seeing and what they heard, and if they see clearness in that. And really the whole process is supposed to be permeated by worship, Quaker worship, listening for the Spirit, centering down, going deep, and really trying to get out of the way, trying to get the self, the will, all of those prescriptions and imaginations about what would be best out of the way, and listen for the sort of the third way, the way that we can't imagine, the way that's bigger and deeper and you know, I'm actually getting it right now, it sort of like raises up the hairs on your arms, that way that you feel in your body, that runs through your spine, that you can't necessarily explain. So I want to invite you into this process, into the worship process, and invite you to share what's coming up for you. Thanks so much for following.
And now this pit that I've lived in, self-indulgent and rigid, looked a whole lot different from below. And now my life on the surface is authentic, its purpose is to be who I'm here to be and grow. And now I'm lifted up, and now I'm lifting others with me. When my silence is serenity, is a sign I'm living simply, and I'm simply living in this complex world that we've been given. Come on. And I salute the Amish and all the other life-affirming products of considering our tolerance for process. It's like a long